actual collusion within the Democratic Party, between the Democratic Party and mainstream media, to steal an election from a Democratic candidate, Bernie Sanders, in favor of their chosen candidate, Hillary Clinton. Let's just all remember that as we go forward. The people that are crying collusion have already been found to have colluded to steal an election. The people who are saying that there are ties to Russia, oh, look at Mike Flynn, are the same people who wiretapped and unmasked Mike Flynn in what everyone admits is a criminal action. Those are the people crying wolf. The ones who are getting away with criminal acts, known criminal acts. Those are the ones that are saying we must find the illegal action of Donald Trump. And by the way, for all the crying of how Trump has acted illegally, Donald Trump and his administration have shown respect for the rule of law. Whether it was the travel bans that were overturned and that he reissued, or if it was any other executive order that was overturned and reissued, he has shown respect for the law. He has acted within the law. His actions in firing former FBI Director Comey within the bounds of the law. And those accusing him of breaking the law after he has shown that he has done nothing but respect the law are those with unclean hands. They're the ones that colluded within their own party to fix an election. They're the ones who are responsible for being in power at the time for the unmasking of an American citizen that was done illegally. They're the ones with all these leaks going out there from former administration officials who are, whose loose lips are sinking ships. Let's remember who's on what side here when we're talking about collusion. Now, speaking of Donald Trump and what his administration is doing, let's give credit where credit is due. In the face of, this new special prosecutor, Bob Mueller, former FBI Director Mueller, who is taking over this investigation, a great pick, by the way, in my opinion. In the face of that, he is still making strides to push his agenda. His budget was put forward, and the numbers are there with increases in spending for defense and things that he promised, and cuts to different budgets. I saw the EPA was getting cut by almost a third. Another campaign promise. There's some controversy over whether he's cutting Medicaid and breaking a campaign promise there. That's to be discussed as we go through it. I gotta be honest with you, I still have to go through all that, but with all the news coming out of Manchester and the news out of the People's Republic of New York City that just got me into a total temper tantrum and just a fit of anger, I haven't really delved into the budget. But President Trump right now is overseas, unprecedented trip, going to the Western Wall in Israel, meeting with members of multiple governments in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, giving speeches that really could have been landmines and theaters of the absurd for President Trump, and avoiding most damage, especially when it came to speaking to the Middle East, galvanizing the Sunni Muslim countries in unifying for their disdain for what Iran is doing, and brilliant political moves there, and meeting in Israel and seeing the contrast in the relationship between President Trump and Israel and President Obama and Israel, and seeing that relationship, and for calling out terror for what they are, losers who are cowards, who are destroying themselves and the good name of their people for the sake of other people's agenda, and committing atrocity upon atrocity that we've seen this week. President Trump's trip overseas has been predominantly successful. I've even seen mainstream media outlets saying that Donald Trump did well in Saudi Arabia. And, the biggest news coming out that they can point to is whether or not Melania is holding his hand or not. The absurdity of that. You know, from the network that brings you breaking news that Donald Trump gets 2 scoops of ice cream while everybody else gets 1. Those people, they're looking for things to latch on to. Just like they tried to latch on to this collusion stuff. And Wolf Blitzer asking constantly, do you have proof? Do you have proof? And everyone's saying no. Donald Trump is actually doing quite a good job in his trip overseas, especially in the face of immense pressure at home. It remains to be seen what comes from this investigation, and I will continue to do what I do, and that is what I tell others to do. Judge slowly. I will wait to see where the evidence takes us. But the rhetoric has got to stop from the left if we're going to get anywhere with it. Hopefully, the special prosecutor will put it all to rest. It's turned into a criminal investigation. There will be probably no more leaks, in my opinion. I think Mueller's going to run a tight ship, and we'll go from there. And that pretty much leads me to my final thought tonight. My final thought to everyone, as we've seen with everything, whether it be waiting to see an investigation into a terror attack, waiting to see what is going on with investigations at home regarding possible criminal and unethical behavior. Judge slowly. I know it's easy to make the knee-jerk reaction and try to guess that motive. Or it's easy to say an outcome must come out because that's what I want it to be. But we are a nation of laws, and we need to let processes go through their course. I think it benefits all of us to wait and see, like we saw in the initial hours of the Manchester attack. Let's take our time, let's grieve, and let's see where evidence takes us. If evidence takes us as it did, and as it did on several other occasions, of radical Islamic terrorism, we call it out for what it is. If President Trump and his administration or people in his campaign colluded with Russia, you call it out for what it is. You let the evidence lead you. You don't lead the evidence. That's going to be my message and my final thought. And of course, as I opened the show with, God bless anyone affected by these attacks in Manchester. My heart goes out to the families of those who lost loved ones, whose loved ones were injured, who may still be missing at this time. And my God, the pain that you're feeling is something I can't imagine. I hope and I pray that you find peace in this time somehow, in some way. And God bless you all. That's going to do it for this show. It's going to time to really shut this thing down. A little bit of a sad note, but next week, back with more political intrigue, innuendo, and a little bit of fun along the way, hopefully. But until then, time to shut it down. Gene Barrelli behind enemy lines. We are out of here. Good night, folks.
Our position has been compromised. It's time to roll out. Report for debriefing at www.behindenemylinesradio.us and look for regular communications via Facebook and Twitter at BEL_radio. You are the resistance. Behind Enemy Lines. A rock radio production. Copyright 2016. Back in 7 days. Out.